This is Christian, filmmaker.
And I'm Ben, an animator.
And you're listening to the Ground Zero Animation Expo episode of the Up and Coming Artist Podcast. Wow, that's a mouthful.
And we just got back from an amazing expo, Ground Zero Animation Expo, where we were able to table, and I gotta say, I don't know about you, Christian, but I had an amazing time.
We met a lot of very good artists. We met a lot of good friends there. Well, I met them. You have known them for years. Yeah, and it was a blast. We got to meet a lot of cool people.
I mean, we were sitting at a table with Tune Therapy, first of all, which was a blast. And we were in between Steven Silver and Victoria Orlofo. Excuse me, I'm saying that name wrong. But just fantastic artists. So I had a bomb time.
Yeah, it was a good time. Now, we do have to admit something. There are some interviews missing from this episode because someone, this guy talking right now, guess which one of us it is, turned off the microphone of our kind of like field recording equipment and to save battery, but we never turned it back on.
No, that was my bad. So it's a mutual miscommunication, and that's what siblings are known for, right? So, yeah, we recorded several interviews that we just don't have because I never turned the mic back on, and I'm so sorry. Really, I've woken up like every night since Ground Zero, which was like a week ago, and I'm just like, dang it, why didn't you check the mic? Why didn't you check the mic?
That's what we here at the Up and Coming Artist Podcast like to call a little bit of failmanade. When life gives you failure, you make failmanade.
Yeah, that's a new segment we'll be adding because we fail a lot.
Yeah, this is actually the second time we're recording this. Guess why? Maybe
We
because
didn't
someone
turn the mic on.
Oh, no!
So we do feel bad, and we want to shout out to the artists that we didn't get to have in this episode due to our technical difficulties. So our first shout out is to Kaylin Kennedy, or at Mimi Ranger. We got an amazing sticker from her on our sign. Thanks for coming on. We'll have to get you on again.
Yeah, and also sorry and thank you to Chuck and Wendy Grebe, and both of theirs are at Chuck_Grebe and at Wendy_Grebe on Instagram.
And we had some other amazing friends of ours, DeMarco Cruz, who's at Spaghetti Pensuki, Andy Nguyen, who's at Underdrawn, Trent Fremont at T-Dog Tunes, and Drew Tipton at Drew's Sketchbook.
Again, we really apologize that we were drinking the Filminade that day, but hopefully we'll get you guys back on again and be able to have a deeper, more personal interview. Oh, that was weird. I'm sorry.
Well, I hope you guys do enjoy the artists that we do get to have on this episode, and you'll hear me say, that's awesome, about way too many times.
Enjoy it.
Okay, welcome back to the Up and Coming Artist Podcast, and we are here at Ground Zero Animation Expo.
Oh boy.
And we are here with two good friends of mine who I've got to know over like a couple different conventions. If you guys don't mind introducing yourselves.
We're convention friends.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I don't see you. No.
Yeah.
My name is Ricky de Los Angeles, and this is my lovely wife.
I'm Lisa de Los Angeles. I'm going to say it differently, I guess.
Now, last night I brought you guys up to my family, and they're like, wait, is that really their last name? Probably because I was saying it wrong, but that's for real, right?
Yep. And we live in Los Angeles, and I was also born in Los Angeles.
Oh, that's awesome. It all works together. So we have 3 questions for you guys, and we already got one down, your name. And so, Christian, why don't you ask the next one?
So, for anybody who doesn't already know who you are, what kind of art do you do?
Well, personally, I do cartoons, illustration. Yeah, a little more on the cartoony side. You know, fun characters, children's book illustration. And professionally, I'm a character artist at Disney Consumer Products, where I draw Disney characters that end up on merchandise.
Well, I guess personally do ceramics, but professionally I work as a home staging designer. That's when, like, if you want to sell your house or something, you bring in professionals to make it look like people would be like, oh, wow, you know, like, this is how I see my life, but it's kind of minus all of the things that you actually need to live.
Oh, that's awesome. That's super cool. Well, these guys are great. They have a fantastic table here at the convention. But if you're not here and you weren't able to check it out, where can people go to find your guys' work?
You could go to Ricky animation.com or just at Ricky Animation. That's my Instagram handle.
And I'm on Instagram, Gumption Ceramics for my ceramics, or just Lisa Gumption for just general me, and you might see some staging stuff on there.
And you might see her play music. She plays. She's also a musician and songwriter. I'm gonna talk her up right now because she's awesome. She has played at Republic of Pie, and so she also uploads her musical doodles.
And Ricky, you also, we were talking about it yesterday, you illustrated the Coco book for the Disney Pixar film.
Yeah, I didn't illustrate the Coco book because there were several, but I illustrated one of them, which was a really cool opportunity. And it's got stickers and cutout characters. It's an 8x8, flimsy book, but it packs a punch, I think.
No, that's awesome. And it's the Coco book for me. There's only one. It's this one. So thank you guys for talking to us and sharing your awesome work at the table. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for chatting with us, neighbor.
Yeah. Thanks, Lisa.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. Any last words, Christian?
Wow, what a team.
Hey, welcome back to the Ground Zero Animation Expo. We're sitting down with a friend of ours from Toon Therapy. Welcome, Joel.
Hello, everybody.
What a sweet guy.
And we had Joel on episode, was it 5, I think? It's been a while, yeah.
Welcome back. So we're going to ask you 3 questions right now. First of all, what do you do? I mean, what kind of art do you do?
I do character design and a bit of background design too, since I'm freelancing on some background design projects.
That is awesome. Speaking of working hard, you're hustling on a project that you're working on with a couple of friends, Toon Therapy. Can you describe that to us?
Sure, it's non-existent right now. Kidding.
You can check them out on YouTube, by the way.
Yeah. So right now we have a couple things in the works. One of the projects is Anticlimactic Guy Episode 2. So we're working on the development stage of that right now. Soon we'll be doing voice recording and then some animating, so that'll be fun.
So for Toon Therapy as well as your own personal work, what kind of mediums do you like to work in for art?
All right, so I work mainly digitally, like in Photoshop. Occasionally, now that I'm animating a bit more now, I use After Effects for animation. But traditionally, for like sketchbook stuff, I love working in pen and ink. So, and also like coal erase pencils. But yeah, I love brush pens too. So.
And last of all, most importantly, where can the good people listening to our podcast check out your work?
All right, you can check out my work on Instagram at joelz_art or at my website, joelzamudio.com.
And where can they check out Toon Therapy?
You can check out Toon Therapy at Toon Therapy on Instagram or toontherapy.net. We couldn't get .com. Or on our YouTube channel, Toon Therapy Animation.
Nice. Check them out. Great guys. Great content. Next one.
Hey, welcome back. This is Ben here over at another fantastic table at Ground Zero Animation Expo with another fantastic artist. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. I'm Abigail Munoz.
Hey, welcome. And so for everyone who wasn't able to make it to the event over this weekend, and they can't see this amazing work that's sitting right here in front of me at your table, what kind of work do you do?
I'm a visual development artist. I primarily focus on character design. My subject matter is based around animals. That's been my favorite subject since I was a kid.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you have a favorite animal by chance?
You know, I've always really loved foxes in particular. You can actually see a fennec fox on my table at this moment. And it's funny because some people are not sure what it is. So yesterday, somebody was like, "Is that a chinchilla?"
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Well, your work is beautiful. And I asked you this yesterday already, but I want to ask you again for the sake of the podcast, is what art medium do you like to work in the most? Like Photoshop or traditional or anything like that? And then where can people go to check out your work?
So my work these days is completely digital. I exclusively use Photoshop. And if you would like to follow me, I am on Instagram as abigailmunoz.art. And thank you so much for checking it out.
Yeah, thank you so much for letting me check it out. It's been so great to talk to you over this weekend. Thank you again.
Likewise, thank you so much.
Hey, this is Ben from the Up and Coming Artist Podcast over here at another fantastic Ground Zero Animation Expo table. And I'll let the artists introduce themselves.
Hi, this is Beverly Arce. I am a illustrator and freelance artist based in the LA area, and I'm having a great time here at Ground Zero.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Antoinette Sun. I'm also an illustrator along with Bev. I am from the Los Angeles area as well, and this is my first time at Ground Zero.
Oh, that's so awesome. Welcome. Yeah, it's a fantastic event. Now, for people who aren't able to be here and see the kinds of work that like you, Bev, have here at the table, can you describe what you have and like maybe the medium you use to make it?
Absolutely. Yeah, so I do a little bit of everything. As far as my table goes, a lot of what I have is mostly character art, kind of poster designs for different movies that I enjoy, and I kind of employ a little bit more of a heavy graphic style, which is really fun for me. A lot of line art, a lot of, I guess, moody colors, which is kind of fun. It's what I enjoy. And I love Guillermo del Toro, so he is apparent in most of my work. It's great.
That's so awesome. And now what about you? What kind of work do you do for people who aren't able to see your work here?
I actually love environment drawing, so that's exactly what I have like on my website. I don't have a table, I'm just helping out my friends Rachel and Bev today.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and we'll get to where we can find your work online in a second. But first I want to ask, like, what are the things that really inspire you guys to like make art?
Oh, that is a great question. Okay, I guess the things that inspire me most are, frankly, other artists. I love movies, I love music, and honestly, I love nature. I spend as much time as I can either camping or going outside and hiking. Wherever I can take inspiration, I get it. And so much of it comes from other artists who I'm surrounded by. So absolutely love that. It's great. Yeah,
that's perfect that you're here at this event with so many great artists. And what about you?
I mainly get my inspiration from just little events that happen throughout my life, actually, whether it's with my friends or childhood, it doesn't matter. I actually pull a lot of inspiration from the Lord of the Rings. I know, big nerd. Yeah.
Well, who doesn't like Lord of the Rings? I mean, come on, right? Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll wrap it up here. We'll have to do a full episode with you guys at some point. But for now, for people who weren't able to come to the table, where can people go to check out your work online?
That is a great question. So I post mostly on Instagram, and I do have an Etsy store. So those are the two places where you can typically find my work. On Instagram, my handle is @trimcoast, which is kind of a weird word. I don't know. I made it up. It doesn't matter. And then, yeah, it works out. And then my Etsy store is what? Oh my God, hang on. Where's my business?
Grab a business card. I'll grab you one of your business cards so we can get that.
My Etsy store is @Last Studio. So that's where you can find me and my work. And yeah, I'm always posting new stuff, so come on by.
For me, I mostly post on Instagram as well. My handle is antotato, like potato, _art. And my website is antoinettesun.wixsite.com. That's where I post mostly of my environment if you want to go ahead and check that out.
That's so awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. The work over here is beautiful. And thanks so much for sharing your work. And I hope everyone out there checks out your work online.
Thank you so much. It was great talking with you.
Yeah, it was great meeting you. Thank you so much, too.
Hey, we're at another fantastic table at Ground Zero Animation Expo. And why don't I let this artist introduce himself?
Hi, my name is Megan Van Voorhees, also known as Fio. My username is Oh No, It's Fio.
Now, okay, I have to ask, where did that name come from?
Fio has been a long-time nickname, and oh no, because I tell really bad puns.
That's awesome. I won't make you pull one out on the spot. What I will ask you is to describe the work that you do here for everyone who wasn't able to make it to the table.
Sure thing. I do a lot of food illustration. I love colorful characters and fun, wacky scenes.
That's awesome. You've got like great breakfast stuff over here. You've got some amazing Pokemon stickers I'm looking at right now. These are amazing. So, For anyone who wants to do the kind of illustration and character design stuff that you have here at the table, what advice would you give?
Definitely observe from life and find the appeal in everything you see.
Yeah, oh, that's awesome. Sweet. Just looking around like, I guess that's the answer. No, that was fantastic. And now for everyone who's looking around and wondering, hey, where can I go to find her work? Where can they check you out online?
They can check out my work at Oh No It's Pheo, spelled Pheo, and I'm on Instagram and Twitter.
Sweet. And that's the same handle?
Yep.
Thank you so much for coming on. Your work is fantastic. I'm so glad we got a sticker from you over on our sign.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Hey, and I'm at another fantastic table here at Ground Zero Animation Expo, and I am here with another fantastic artist, and I'll let her introduce herself and the kind of work that she does.
Hi, I'm Victoria. I am a background artist at Cartoon Network, and I love doing art, doing that art thing.
That's so awesome. So, can you say what show you work on Cartoon Network?
Oh yeah, I'm working on Genndy Tartakovsky's Primal. We just got announced a couple weeks ago, and we'll be premiering on Adult Swim.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. So now I have to ask, what first got you interested in doing background painting?
I think in general I just like the idea of being able to tell a story through the environment and not so much the characters. But I also just don't enjoy drawing characters or people in general. So backgrounds are definitely my jam.
That's awesome. Now you have such fantastic and beautiful work here. And here's a question I always have when I look at like fantastic work like this is how do you go about like choosing colors and figuring out compositions for like your backgrounds?
Most of it is just observation and what I take from doing, from looking at light in real life, and then just applying that to specific backgrounds for mood and, yeah, just mood.
Yeah, totally. No, that's great. So, for people who maybe are interested in doing backgrounds, say at Cartoon Network or another studio, what advice would you give based on your experience?
I would say keep doing what you want to do, whether it's painting or drawing. Always practice and never give up.
That's awesome. Perfect advice. So our last question, where can people go who haven't been able to come to Ground Zero to check out your work, like online?
You can go to my website at www.wixsite.com/VictoriaArolfo/portfolio, or you can find me on Instagram at VictoriaArolfoArt or on Twitter at VArolfo.
Sweet. Thank you so much. Your work is fantastic. Everyone, please check her out online. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm back over here at Ground Zero Animation Expo at another amazing table with some amazing artists. I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Michelle Rincon, and I am a storyboard artist.
Hi, and my name is Jasmine Puente, and I'm a freelance artist.
Oh, that's so awesome. And now I'm able to see your guys' fantastic work. You've got like character designs and illustration and stuff like that. But for everyone who wasn't able to be here today, how would you describe your personal work and like what kind of medium you like to use?
Well, I'm all about digital media because I don't have the patience to do any traditional work anymore, which is kind of like, you know, I feel like a lot of artists can relate to that. But my art, I do it all like digitally. I use Procreate, I use Photoshop. Sometimes I even use Storyboard Pro. So I base a lot of my art on like some personal experiences. Like I really like folklorico and Mexican folk dancing, so like I try to incorporate that into my work. Also like just, you know, regular cartoon, cutesy. Like a lot of people say that my art is like cute in general. So I guess that's how you would associate it. But yeah, it's like it's very kind of cartoony, and I try to tell stories in some of my art.
That's awesome. That's so, and that really comes out through your work. That's really cool. And how about you?
Hi, I usually go digitally too. I can do traditional, but my main media is digital. Going through Photoshop, pretty easy. I would describe my work kind of a lot more vibrant, pop-colored images, really cute characters. I really like going for body poses or different ideas that people haven't traditionally gone across. I like different body shapes, I like different motions. Usually dancing kind of inspires most of my artwork. A lot of dance movement and definitely a lot of color, a lot of pop if you see my work.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, that really comes out through your work. Now, are you a dancer?
No, but I definitely took a lot of dance class in college.
So that really means you're like a closet dancer. Like you really do it, but yeah, you hide it away.
No, definitely. I dance beautifully in the secretness of my room, and no one needs to see it.
What people do need to see, though, is your guys' fantastic work. So for people who weren't able to make it out over this weekend, where can people go to check out your work? We'll start with Michelle.
So you can go to my website, michellerinconart.com, or you could find me on social media, Instagram, Twitter, at Elote Waifu, which is ELOTEWAIFU. And, you know, shoot me a message or something. Like, I like meeting people and talking to them and getting to know them even though I don't know them. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Jasmine.
Hi, and then you'll find mine at JazzDoll20, JAZZDOLL 20. That's mainly my social media platform right now. I have a Facebook. You can follow the link on there, but mainly Instagram right now.
That's so awesome. Thanks so much, you guys, for talking about your work. It's fantastic. And thanks for tabling here.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing this. I really love the up-and-coming podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was fun talking to you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Hey, this is Ben, and we're over here at Rachel. Oh, how do you say your last name, Sam?
It's actually my middle name, yeah.
Really? Okay, and is that your art name in particular?
Yes, because Rachel and Morales, my last name is Morales, but they're both super common. I was like looking myself up on Google, I'm like, no, that's not me, that's some senator in like Ohio or something.
Oh my gosh, well my name is Ben Davis, which I think are like 17,000 in like the US alone, so I get you.
You know, it's understandable.
Hey, that's great. So I am currently looking at your work, which is absolutely fantastic, at a table here at Ground Zero Animation Expo. But for people who can't see your work right now, how would you describe it, and what media do you like to use?
Okay, well, I mostly use Photoshop. I am heavily influenced by like my traditional like growing up background. I started with a lot of like oil paints, so I love having that like lineless sort of textured painterly look to my art. Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, in terms of subject matter, how do you go about figuring out what you want to draw?
Okay, well, I do a lot of fan art just because I do it on my wind down time, like when I'm done with freelance or my work job, just because it's a little bit of mindless fun. And I love all these characters. I'm a little geek, so I do that. Or if I'm really inspired by either a friend's trip or just other artists on Instagram, I'll sort of just paint from there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, and your work is really beautiful. I absolutely love the colors that you're choosing, the characters that you're drawing. So for people who want to like maybe come to a table like this, but they're still up and coming in their art career, what advice would you give them in doing the kind of work that you do?
Oh, I'm a big believer in just like getting out as many of the bad drawings as you can. Like I started like pretty bad, and I don't know. I'm still not at the level I want to be, but I guess just keep drawing, keep painting, like all the time, drawing from life a lot. And then at least for conventions, just go for it. Like there's always going to be like a what if I don't make my money back, or like what if they don't like my art or something. I think just go for it, make as much as you can, and you'll just have a ton of fun.
That's so awesome. That's fantastic advice. So where can people go to check out your work online?
Yeah, so I'm mostly on Instagram. My handle is rachel.elise, all E's, E-L-E-S-E. My parents like E's for some reason.
Well, I like your work. It's fantastic. Thanks so much for sharing it with us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, perfect. Hey, this is Ben, and I'm over here with the Peter Paul. Say hi, Peter.
Hi there.
Well, thanks for coming on, man, and thanks for this amazing table. Your work is beautiful. So I have to ask, for people who aren't aware of like some of the movies or things that you've worked on, what have you worked on, and what kind of art do you like to do?
Wow, that's a lot.
We can take it in pieces.
So for this year, I have 3 things that are out or will be out. The Ugly Dolls movie just came out last month. It was such a fun movie to work on. If you do get to see it, if not in the theaters, at least streaming someday. I did the opening sequence of it. It's so fun. I have 2 shows coming out on TV in the fall. Green Eggs and Ham for Netflix. It's coming out fall, I believe. And I'm doing a show called Duncanville. It's an Amy Poehler show that will be out on Fox TV, probably around the same time slot as The Simpsons and Bob's Burgers. And we're doing that at Bento Box.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so those are the more recent ones.
That's so awesome. Now, you have an extensive and amazing career. You've worked at like all the studios, right? Like, do you even remember all of them?
I remember every single one of them.
Oh, really? Which ones?
Warner Brothers, Disney, DreamWorks, Universal, Illumination, Fox, Bento Box.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. So for people who, once again, aren't as familiar with your work, you're typically doing storyboards, is that right?
I teach storyboarding, introduction to storyboarding at Society of Illustrators. We're located in Glendale at the Swain's Art Store. The gallery area is where I teach my class. I do that in the spring and fall, but I will be doing a summer workshop for 2 days in July, and I may be doing a summer workshop in Vegas also this month.
Oh my God, you're traveling all over the place. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm really tired because I have to do all those while I'm working.
Oh my gosh. Well, you have amazing and fantastic work. And so, for everyone who wasn't able to make it out to this event or is interested in learning storyboarding from you, where can people go to find you online?
Just ask anybody. No. Just follow me at Adventures of P2. That's short for Peter Paul.
Well, that's so great. And thank you so much for the stickers. I have to have you come over and put some on. You ready?
Sure. All right. Yes.
Let's do it. Thanks, Peter.
Well, hey there, listener. This is the middle part.
While we were at Ground Zero, we got to talk to so many great artists, and a lot of you guys are interested in us promoting you, so that's exactly what we're here to do.
You can find these people on Instagram. We're going to give you their socials. So if you're interested in character design work or just want to check out someone's great character design work, you can go to @InspireDrawAw. That's Inspire Draw and then literally AW, like, aw, it's so cute.
Yeah, and then you can find our good friend Princess Bizarris and see her work in animation and illustration on Instagram. She goes by @AmbitiousFish.
We got some visual development from Victor Calleja. Ooh, fancy. He does animation for Marvel Studios, not the movies like the cartoons, which in some ways is cooler.
Yeah, way cooler.
Way cooler. So that's really awesome. Good for him.
And his girlfriend, Vanessa, who goes by @VanessaV Galeno. I'm going to probably say that wrong.
Forgive our lack of cultural diversity.
Yeah.
And another person who does animation and illustration, you got to go check them out @NoelWhispers. Go check their work out. It's good stuff.
All good work, all great artists. And speaking of great artists, as a cheesy transition, we're getting back to the good artists that I got to talk to at Ground Zero Animation Expo.
Yay! I don't know what the little part was.
Hey, this is Ben, and I'm at another fantastic table with some amazing artists, and I will let them introduce themselves to all of you.
Hello, my name is Dana Rodriguez. I'm a character designer and visitive artist, and I just graduated from Cal State Fullerton.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Rizzo, and I'm a story artist and character designer, and recently over at Sony Animation.
Oh, that's so awesome. Can you talk about what project you're on?
I can't right now. It's not. I can't.
I get you. It's secret.
It's been fun so far.
Awesome. Well, that's so cool. Well, your guys' work is totally fantastic. We've got some amazing illustration and character design stuff over here. So my first question is, what art medium do you guys like to work in the most? Start with Janet.
I love using gouache right now. And when I'm not using gouache, I paint on the iPad actually using Procreate, which I know a lot of people are using right now. And like a few of my favorite brushes on there are from Max Sulichny. And some of the stock ones that are on there, like under the calligraphy brush and the gouache brush. Those are some of my favorite things right now.
That's so awesome. That's super cool. And how about Stephanie?
As right now, I usually do gouache as well, but I'm usually on the Procreate, and I'll be using Max as well. Max Uli. Yeah. I was like, I don't want to say it wrong.
If that's how you say it,
yeah.
I think.
His gouache also brushes and some of the comic packs as well. So that's what we've been using, I've been using so far. So
That's awesome. Well, that's so cool, guys. I mean, and clearly your guys' work, it shows a lot of skill and a lot of time that you spent learning what mediums really work for you. These are fantastic. So for people who aren't here at the table and aren't able to see this amazing work, where can they find you guys online?
My handle is Pueblo de Janet on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. And my website is artofjanetrodriguez.com. That's usually where you find me. I'm pretty active on there.
And then I'm on Instagram. I'm Steph_Oble, OBLE, and the same as Twitter. And then my website is StephanieRizzo.com is what it was.
Yeah, all right. And here's our final question. For people who do get to check out your work and see the kinds of art that you're doing, what advice would you give to maybe students or people coming up to do the kind of art that you do?
Just keep doing what you like to do and just keep practicing that and like focusing on that, and not to like burn yourself out too. Like go out, experience things, and that will help a lot with coming up as an artist. Yeah, it's really important. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And since I'm kind of in that situation right now, I feel like I'm starting out. The advice that I keep hearing and that has been helping me out a lot is to work on, like what Steph was saying, work on yourself. Like what you genuinely like to do, keep doing that. Because that's your voice, what people will be hiring you for.
That's awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. I hope everyone who's listening checks you guys out online because it's really great work. Thanks again for coming on, guys.
Oh, thanks for coming over.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's really cool to finally be on here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Hey, we are back. Up and Coming Artist Podcast at Ground Zero Animation Expo with a good friend of mine, Miguel Martinez Fierro.
Buongiorno. How are you guys doing today?
Doing great.
I'm doing okay. You know how it goes, you guys.
So, okay, Miguel, you do a lot of great art on your own, but you're also here with Toon Therapy. So can you talk about what you do as well as what Toon Therapy does?
Yeah, so I'm actually one of the voices of one of the characters on Toon Therapy. So I guess a voice actor, animator, editor, pretty much anything that Toon Therapy needs, you know, I'm down for the crew, you know. But my thing, I do like a live animated podcast that's part of the Toon Therapy channel, where like Ben was on an episode and we recorded talking about Nacho Libre. And I do story art. I actually just wrote a children's book for my son. He's really into pirates, so kind of had to. And so far he likes it, and I guess I hope other people do too.
Yeah, no, dude, that's awesome, man. So for people who are interested in like animation or writing their own children's book, what kind of advice would you give them?
Oh, man. Yeah, there's a lot of outlets out there where you can self-publish, which I just did a lot of research on it. Amazon offers a self-publishing thing where you can like upload the ebook to their Kindle network, and it's free. And they pay pretty well. Like it takes a while to get paid, but it's really streamlined. And also like just finding a good place to publish your stuff. Like I've been walking around here, Ground Zero, and asking people because obviously if they've already printed the book out, so they could probably give you the best advice versus like Google searching for hours, you know? So that's pretty much what I can say about that, yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. And so because of that advice and because of the great work that you have, where can people go to find your work online?
Oh, at BatMiguel on Instagram. It's spelled BATMIGU 3L. Yeah, that's the number 3. So BATMIGU 3L at Instagram, on YouTube. You can find all the stuff on Toon Therapy too. So I'll be uploading my animated podcast on the Toon Therapy channel. And you can find it there and all the other places, MiguelFierro.net. Man, I don't know, everywhere.
No, dude, that's what's awesome about your work. Not only do you do the research, but you do the work to make it happen, and that's awesome, man.
Yeah, dude, you know, you got to work hard. You know, I have a son, I have a wife, but it doesn't stop me from creating stuff, man. You know, like I tell people, if I can do it, you could do it, you know. Just put your best foot forward, be nice, be kind, be good, be fast. Just words of advice that I've heard from other people and just trying to uphold it myself, you know? Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I'll let you get back to your family. Thanks for taking the time, man.
Yeah, no worries. I love you guys, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you, dude.
And we're back with another friend of ours because we have so many great friends. Cassidy!
Hello!
Now, Cassidy, since you're not tabling at this event, even though your work is totally worthy, and we would love to have you have a table here, what kind of work do you do?
So I do a lot of paintings. I love background painting and I love plein air painting, and yeah, just all the color things all the time.
And you've been mentioned on the podcast, like, I think every episode, because you're so good and friendly.
Thanks.
So, our first question, besides obviously what you do, is going to be, who influences you the most? Like, who is like you're like, oh, I want to like get to that level?
Oh, there's so many good people. This is such a hard question to answer. There's a lot of really great people. I really love a lot of the artists that are here. Like, I love looking at Nick Kennedy's work because he does a lot more flat backgrounds, and I'm trying to get more into learning how to do that. So I'm really inspired by a lot of the stuff that he does and how he takes his traditional paintings and turns those into more graphic background paintings. So that's like the first one that comes into my head because he's just sitting right over there. But yeah, so many people, for sure.
Oh, and that's so awesome. And now for people who don't know Cassidy Fulch, she has interned at like every studio or something like that. Can you talk about your experience real quick?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to say, but I interned at Nickelodeon for 2 semesters and then now DreamWorks for 2 semesters, and I just learned a lot being in production with everybody and learning how the different studios handle things differently. Actually at Nick I was in HR, so I learned a lot of that administration side of things, and then DreamWorks it's been development production, so seeing all the new projects coming into development and learning how to organize them and keep everything straight. So yeah, it's been a really great time getting to see all the artwork come in and meet a lot of amazing people at the studio and do all that awesome art.
That's so awesome.
And for people who have never heard of you, what are you doing?
Who would that be?
Probably people listening to this podcast. Not true. Actually, half the people listening to this podcast know you personally. But for those of you who haven't heard of her before, where can they find your work?
Yeah, so I have an Instagram. It's at Cassidy_creates. That's probably the best place to find all my more recent stuff. I have a website too, same thing. It's linked on there. You can find it. Yeah.
That's awesome. And our last question is, what advice would you give to someone who's interested in doing painting and doing the kinds of things that you've done?
Ooh, paint a lot, practice a lot, make sure you're enjoying the process, and then come to events like this, Ground Zero. You get to meet people and get to hear their advice and get advice on how to paint better and see work up close and get to ask questions. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on.
Thank you, guys.
I am here with another amazing artist, and I'll let her introduce herself, and I wish all of you were here to see her table because it is beautiful. Here she is.
Hi guys. I'm Jenna Gray, and I have a table here.
So, what kind of art for people who aren't here do you do?
Mostly it's mermaids, just kind of character design, character concept art, that kind of thing.
That's awesome. So what got you into illustration originally?
I've just always had a love of art and a love of drawing ever since I could, pick up a pencil. So that's pretty much it. And I went to school for art at Cal State Fullerton and graduated with a BFA in entertainment art animation, and now I'm here.
That's so awesome. I went to Cal State Fullerton as well, so that's so cool. Did you know Chuck and Wendy?
Yes, I do. I know they're over there.
I know they're right over there. It's so cool. So now that you're doing some amazing work, a lot of the people who listen to our podcast are actually students at Cal State University Fullerton. So what advice would you give to up-and-coming artists who want to do what you do?
Get an internship and never stop learning. Like, always look for different information, look all over the place in addition to classes, take classes outside of Cal State Fullerton in addition to your classes and just never stop learning and, never stop talking to people in the industry.
Dude, that's so awesome. That's great advice. So, for people who haven't been able to come to Ground Zero, where can they go to check out your amazing work?
You can follow me at JEN Gray Art on Instagram.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Hey, we're still here at Ground Zero Animation Expo with 2 amazing artists, and I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Cassidy Blake Christo.
Hi,
I'm Megan Ponsavan. I'm a character designer. Yeah.
Your work is fantastic, and I know Cassidy's work. Cassidy's been on the podcast before, so thanks again for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, so Cassidy does animation and you do character design. So what got you guys started in that originally?
I started out working on mobile video games, and when that sort of work sort of dried up in my home state, I made a gamble. My husband and I like pack our bags, move to Los Angeles, sleep on my aunt's couch. And I kind of just wormed my way in through like odds and ends, freelance job, little non-union studios, and eventually people just wanted me to stick around.
And where did you move here from?
Arizona.
Yes. Are you asking what got me started? Oh, well, I would say classic cartoons like Looney Tunes and Simpsons, and then I'm one of those stereotypical 90s babies, so was the Renaissance of Disney, that kind of era. So classic 2D animation, and I really want to do a 2D film that's hand-drawn on paper, which, Ben, I think you'd be interested in.
Oh, yes, I would. You know it.
Okay, so I would love to develop something like that, so classic things inspire me, and I'm excited to see what we can do with it now.
Yeah, that's awesome, and we'll come back to that. So you guys have done fantastic work. It's great to see your stuff at the convention. What advice would you give to people who want to do character design or want to do traditional animation?
I would say learn the foundations. Really spend a lot of time honing your life drawing, your gesture drawing, humans, animals, and then also be versatile. Don't be married to one style. Be willing to experiment, play around with a lot of different shapes, a lot of different characters, and create a portfolio that says that you can do the job. A lot of stuff that I see is just like these really, really beautiful rendered paintings of characters, illustrations, but I'm not seeing really tied down designs. I'm not seeing turnarounds, like expression sheets, mouth charts. Like, look at the making of book of your favorite TV show. Look what the exact pieces that they needed to produce that film or that show, and make something that resembles that.
What about you?
Well, the advice I have for people is that don't be afraid to get out there. I mean, we're here today at Ground Zero Expo Animation, and there are tons of people here who are in the industry and not in the industry. So don't be afraid to get out there. And there's so many resources for everybody, you know? There's online. Online is endless. There's YouTube. There's just pages. There's PDFs of books you don't even have to buy. You can go to the library. You can come to places like this. So I would say do your research, find out what you want to do, and then investigate it more.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's great advice. Well, thank you guys for showing your work here. It's fantastic. For people who haven't been able to come here, haven't had the opportunity, maybe they're living in Arizona, where can they go online to find your work?
I'm at McAnimation on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch.
You can go to Toon Therapy on YouTube, the shout-outs, or Toon Therapy on Instagram. That's the virtual studio that Ben and I are a part of, with some other lucky individuals. As far as my website, you can look me up on Instagram because I don't remember the URL right now.
Hey, don't worry about it. Well, thank you guys so much. Once again, your guys' work is fantastic. Thanks for showing it here.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah. Hey, and we're at another amazing table with another amazing artist, and I'll let her introduce herself to all of you. Here she is.
Hi guys, my name is Bonnie Branson, and I'm a background painter and illustrator.
That's so awesome, and your table is fantastic. I wish everyone who was listening had the chance to come by, but if they hadn't, how would you describe the totality of your work, and what media do you use?
I use Photoshop, and I am really into creating mood through color and light. So as a background painter, my job is to create a sense of emotion and a sense of place through my art. So I focus mostly on landscapes. Even in my personal work, I like a lot of plein air, and I'm just crazy about color. So my work is really vibrant and lots of yellow.
Yeah, I know. I love it. That's why I'm drawn to it. It's fantastic. So for someone who's maybe thinking about getting into background painting or wants to learn more about color, what advice would you give?
Okay, so I would say get outside and paint from life. So do plein air painting. There's a lot of, if you live in the LA area, there's a lot of groups that you can join, like the Warrior Painters. If you don't live in the LA area, just go outside, because every time you go outside, you're gonna see something new if you're painting from observation. So pay attention to the light. Even if your paintings, like for me, it's really hard to do plein air, but even if my paintings are, they don't come out great, I always learn something new, you know, because you have to make decisions and you have to design while you're painting, and the light is changing and stuff. So it's a really good way to develop skills. And also, I would say pay attention to other painters, like fine art painters, other background artists. Like every time I see a new show, I look up and see who's the background painters on this show. What do their portfolios look like? What are they doing on social media? What are their influences? And I just look at everything. Like my Pinterest board, I have like 3,000 pins or something. Oh no, I think it's 11,000 now. Yeah, I'm crazy. I just pin everything. So just look at everything, you know, keep being inspired and paint from life. That would be my advice.
Oh, that's great advice. Thank you so much. And your energy is infectious. I love it. Yeah. So for people who aren't here and haven't been able to check out the table, where can people go to be inspired by your work?
Oh, so my Instagram is artbonnie, and my website is also artbonnie.com. And on Twitter, you can find me at Bonnie Branson.
That's so awesome. Bonnie, thank you so much for talking with us.
Thank you for talking to me.
Yeah, thank you.
And that's all she wrote.
Yeah, it was a great time, though. I'm so glad we were able to talk to all the artists that we did, including the ones that we didn't get in this episode.
Oh, we are so sorry. But thank you to everybody who came and chatted with us at our table, and for all the artists that were there who were super nice to us and chatted with us. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Yeah, and we're going to be putting up the Instagrams of everyone we talked to in this episode, including those that I accidentally cut out. As well as, too, you can go onto the GZAExpo website, and there are a lot more artists at the event than we were able to talk to in this episode. So if you want to continue to be inspired and continue to follow great artists and see their work, check out Ground Zero online and be sure to come next year. And lastly, if you guys follow us on Instagram, that's Up and Coming Artist Podcast on Instagram, the artists that we shouted out in the middle of this episode, we have a separate post for so you guys can see their work. And we're going to continue to do that for as long as all the artists we met at the event.
Which was a lot.
Yeah, which was a lot.
It was a lot. So sorry if we don't get to you in the near future. We're doing our best.
Yeah, but all your guys' work is great, and that's why we want to shout you out and promote you on the podcast and also on our Instagram. So check that out. And Christian, any last words?
Art forever!
Thanks, guys.
Art forever!